The mattress store. Mystery, how empty showrooms expose America's biggest open secret. You've seen them, brightly lit, oversized, impossible to miss. A mattress store on every block, sometimes two across the street from each other. Huge signs, endless rows of beds on display, wide open parking lots. But here's the problem. They're always empty. Not just once in a while, every time you pass by. No customers inside, no lines, just an employee staring at their phone while fluorescent lights hum over a showroom full of dust. And you have to ask yourself, how do these places survive? Nobody buys a mattress every week. Nobody even buys one every year. At best, once every decade. And now with online shopping, most people skip the store entirely. So why are these giant showrooms everywhere? Why do they never close? And where does the money come from? For years, the internet laughed about it. Mattress stores must be laundering money. A joke, a meme, a funny observation. But when you actually look deeper, when you run the numbers and follow the money trail, the laughter fades because the math doesn't add up. And when the math doesn't add up in business, it usually means one thing: the books are being cooked. Think about it. A mattress costs anywhere from $500 to several $1,000s. If a store claims they sold 20 in a week, nobody blinks. Who's gonna check? There's no baseline, no easy way to verify. Unlike restaurants or coffee shops, you don't see customers lined up. Unlike grocery stores, there's no daily traffic you can measure. A mattress store can sit empty all month, yet on paper move $200,000 in sales. That gap between perception and paperwork, that's where dirty money gets cleaned. And the mattress industry is uniquely built for it. Prices are inflated, inconsistent, and intentionally confusing. The same mattress might cost $1,200 in one store, $2,000 in another, and $800 online. The names change too. What's called the Dream Luxe at one chain is the Comfort Sleep at another, even though they came from the same factory. That lack of standardization makes it nearly impossible to track what's really being sold and at what value. Perfect camouflage for fraud. Look at Mattress Firm, the biggest chain of all. At one point, they had over 3,500 stores nationwide. In some neighborhoods, you could drive a single mile and pass 6 different locations. Analysts scratch their heads. Why oversaturate like that? Why would one company cannibalize its own market? But maybe that was the point, because every new store is another node in the network, another place where money can enter, exit, and blur into the system. When their parent company, Steinhoff International, collapsed in 2018, investigators uncovered one of the largest accounting scandals in history: billions in hidden losses, fake transactions, and phantom companies. Suddenly, the empty showrooms didn't look like bad business. They looked like strategy. But here's where it gets darker. Mattress stores might just be the tip of the iceberg. Because when you start looking for businesses that don't make sense, you realize they're everywhere. Car washes that never seem to wash cars. Nail salons that open in clusters, all with the same hours, all strangely empty. Pizza shops in obscure locations that somehow stay afloat for decades with no visible customers. These aren't just quirky businesses. They're ideal fronts. Ask anyone who studied organized crime. The trick is always the same. You take cash from illegal sources, drugs, trafficking, scams, and run it through a legitimate business where cash flow is hard to track. The business doesn't need to make sense. It doesn't even need to be profitable. It just needs to exist, to create receipts, invoices, and a paper trail that makes dirty money look clean. And the best businesses for that are ones the public already expects to be inconsistent, confusing, or empty. Think about it. A restaurant with no customers goes under fast. People notice. A gas station without cars would raise alarms. But a mattress store with no customers? A laundromat with only one person inside? A car wash that looks deserted most days? Nobody questions it. In fact, we've been trained to shrug it off. That's just how it is. That shrug is the shield. That silence is the protection. And within that silence, billions can move without anyone asking questions. And there's proof. In New York, federal investigators have linked laundromats to organized crime syndicates funneling drug money. In California, car washes have been busted for laundering cartel profits. Nail salons have been tied to human trafficking operations where the cash registers doubled as money washing machines. And in Chicago, a mattress distributor was exposed in a $20 million fraud scheme involving shell accounts and false invoices. Each time, people said the same thing. It makes sense now, but how many other businesses slide under the radar every single day? Even real estate plays into this. Why else would giant mattress showrooms sit on prime commercial lots in major cities? Why tie up tens of thousands a month in rent for a store with no foot traffic? Unless the real money isn't coming from customers at all. Unless those leases themselves are part of the scheme, inflating values, shuffling ownership, and feeding money into a system too big to trace. The showrooms might be as much about controlling land as they are about selling beds. And think bigger. How much of your city is really alive, and how much is just stage scenery for money flows you'll never see? Ghost businesses, ghost tenants, shell companies propping up the illusion of commerce? Maybe that's why certain strip malls never die. Maybe that's why empty lots suddenly explode with a strange shop that never has customers. They aren't for you, they're for the system. The symbolism almost feels intentional. A mattress is where you sleep, where you dream, the most intimate piece of furniture in your home, and yet behind that image of comfort and rest could be one of the most restless, chaotic systems of modern finance. Beds aren't where the deal ends. They're where the deal hides. The product isn't the point. The emptiness is the camouflage. And here's the question that should keep you up at night. If mattress stores, laundromats, car washes, and nail salons can all serve as fronts, how much of the economy is actually clean? How many of the businesses you drive past every day are exactly what they appear to be? And how many are just facades, washing billions while we scroll past memes about how empty they are? Because maybe that's the greatest trick of all. They don't need to hide in shadows anymore. They don't need to operate in basements or back alleys. They can run their schemes right in front of us, behind neon sale signs and open 24 hours banners. And when someone points it out, everyone laughs, calls it a conspiracy, makes a meme. Meanwhile, the system keeps spinning, the books keep cooking, and the money keeps moving. This isn't just about mattresses. It's about how corruption thrives in daylight, how entire industries can be hollow shells, fronts propped up by networks of money that depend on one thing: your silence. As long as you laugh and move on, as long as you accept the absurd without question, they win. The emptiness protects them. The absurdity is the alibi. You be the judge. If you're awake, you already know what to do. Hit the link in the description and join our free underground newsletter.